The story begins with a brutal war. Among all who fight, one stands out. He has incredible sword skills and wears dark clothes. He is Prince Arnold, and he initiated a war against the whole world. Entering the castle, all the remaining soldiers guard the entrance to where the princes of that kingdom are. There we see Rishe, our protagonist. Arnold walks slowly and easily subdues all his opponents, one by one. Even with an open counterattack, Rishe can hardly touch him. She vomits blood. Her enemy's sword pierced her completely. She thinks about having lived this life to the fullest, but in the next. So, time rewinds. It goes back to the time when she was rejected by her fiancé, Prince Dietrich. But she simply accepts and snubs that prince as if he were not important at all. She leaves there and thinks about going back again. This is not the second, nor the third, but her seventh life. She can still remember her first life. She was indeed very surprised when she was rejected by that prince. He accused her of various false crimes, and because of that, her own parents abandoned her. She was at the mercy of the streets, wandered aimlessly until she fell to her knees on a dirt road, wondering what to do next. This is when she meets the traveling merchants, traders. The head of that gang asks Rishe if she would like to join them and go to the next town. His group teases him, but he says he knows how to judge people. He admires Rishe's clothes. Even in the moonlight, the fabric is beautiful. Just by looking at her, he guesses where those clothes are from, saying that she must be a noble. In response, she takes off her ring and offers it for sale, catching the merchant's attention. She travels with the group. We see that they are like adventurers, seeking goods that ignite their hearts and selling to people who get as excited as they do. When the seller and the buyer love the product, it creates profit. That's the motto of the Arya Trading Company. Rishe admires this a lot. The merchant sees that she liked it and that she is like a blank canvas. He invites her to journey with them. She is no longer tied to a prince. She can go wherever she wants. She is free to do whatever she wants. I liked the motto of these merchants. So, in her first life, Rishe learned about commerce with Tully, the boss. Later, she set off alone on a new journey, awakening a hidden dream of visiting and getting to know all the countries. When she was missing one country, she got involved in a war and ended up losing her life. So she returned for the first time to her checkpoint. She is surprised by all of this. She thinks it's a dream and pinches her cheeks. She sees that all this is real and thinks it's a second chance that God gave her. She remembers that in her past life, the only thing she regretted was not taking more personal belongings with her, resources to use as merchandise. She is eager to see Tully and the Arya Trading Company again. But when she arrived at the destination, they had already moved on. She took too long getting her things. Not knowing what to do, Rishe opens her suitcase and finds a book of medicinal plants that her grandmother left her. Unlike her last life, this time she has money, so she just needs to decide what to do with it. So, in her second life, she sold everything she had and used the money to cross the sea and learn medicine. She studied various plants and made good use of the experience she gained in her first life. One day, she traveled to a kingdom and saved a prince with her knowledge, who was immensely grateful and impressed. Her life was fulfilling and rewarding, but again, she got involved in a war and died. So, time rewinds again to her checkpoint. In her third life, she decided to go on a journey of academic study with a person she met in her previous life, Dr. Michelle Evan. She studied with the doctor for several years, after which she continued her journey alone, but again, she got involved in the war and died again. In her fourth life, she served as a maid to a rich duke. In her sixth life, she pretended to be a man and became a knight. Why didn't she mention her fifth life? Anyway, in all her lives, she felt fulfilled and happy. However, in all her lives, after 5 years, she always died. So we come to her seventh life. This time she decides to take it easy. She wants to have a long life this time. Now that she's stopped to think, she always left the castle through the main entrance, but as she is now, she thinks it will be faster to jump from the balcony. But as she turns the corner, she comes face to face with none other than Arnold, the prince who took her previous life. Rishe screams in shock, calling him emperor. Arnold is surprised that this stranger knows him, even though it's the first time they've seen each other. Rishe then explains that his fame precedes him. But Arnold says that his father is still alive, so he couldn't be called emperor, only prince. With no alternative, Rishe apologizes. She explains that her engagement has just ended, and she is in a hurry, so she goes to the balcony, takes off her shoes, and jumps. Arnold is amazed.
Oi.
This reckless act, so completely unlike women, stirs something in his heart. Rishe lands and rolls on the ground, breaking the heels of her shoes, and goes on her way. This makes Arnold smile. Oliver, his most loyal servant, appears there, and Arnold asks him to prepare his horse. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, he is hopelessly in love. Returning to Rishe, she complains that her current body is weak and needs to train all over again. On her walk, she comes across a crowd looking for her. Then her ex-fiance, happy to find her, goes to her, spitting arrogance and ego, which doesn't surprise Rishe at all. She sees that this time, she didn't arrive on time and even ran into her ex-fiance. He is once again egocentric and says he can see that despite her indifference to his declaration, she is deeply sad that he ended the engagement with her. He mentions Risha's dirty dress and how she was sad wandering the streets. But she asks if he's an idiot. Sadness doesn't dirty dresses. She is also not at all sad that he broke off the engagement. This makes the people there whisper, seeing that the prince seems more hurt than she is. This irritates the prince, who complains. Rishe feels relieved not to have spent any of her lives with him. She reminds him that his duty is to protect the kingdom and its subjects, not the other way around. And she also mentions that she feels very relieved that he broke off the engagement. This makes the guards laugh. Then comes the prince's new suitor, Donzella Marie, who tells Rishe to stop mistreating her prince. The prince says he heard that Rishe made her cry, and he won't forgive that. Rishe says there's no problem. She will obey the engagement breakup decree. She recalls that all she sought up to that point was to be the prince heir's bride, what she thought was all she could achieve as a woman. But now she sees that she can find her own worth and has everything for it. So, she says she doesn't need the prince for anything. This makes the prince stagger. Rishe also tells Marie that she doesn't know what lies she told to incriminate her, but she doesn't feel angry about it. She sees that Marie seeks her family's good with the marriage. Rishe warns her that if her future is not desired by herself, it will never make sense. It is possible to find happiness for her family and for herself too. So she leaves and thinks about what to do this time. The prince orders the guards to arrest her, and they ask her to wait. Then Rishe feels an overwhelming presence. She grabs the sword from the guard behind her and defends a blow from Arnold. He knew she would defend. He was fascinated by her and asks where she learned those skills. Wow, these two were made for each other, don't you think? Comment here if you agree. She answers that it's a secret. She sees that he held back with that blow. The prince heir asks who she is. But Rishe tells them to step back. They cannot use violence against the heir of Gaine. This impresses everyone. Arnold is famous for having wiped out an entire army alone. Rishe then asks what he is doing there. He certainly didn't use his sword for fun. Arnold took her past life and will also cause a war that will involve the whole world. The same war that took Rishe's lives. Arnold kneels, which astonishes Rishe. He apologizes for his rudeness earlier and asks for her hand in marriage. Oh, my heart. Guys, I'm loving these two. He really asked her to marry him. The same man responsible for her death 6 times in a row knelt under that moonlight and asked for Rishe's hand. Everyone there is impressed, including Rishe herself, who immediately refuses, but Arnold finds it amusing. At that moment, the king of that empire appears, and his son goes whining to him, but he ignores him and decides to clean the floor with him. He kneels and apologizes to Rishe for breaking off the engagement and asks her to consider Arnold's proposal. In response, she says that something like that wouldn't cause any enmity, but she would like to talk to Rishe in his chambers. She ends up accepting. In Arnold's chambers, Rishe is still confused about all of this, but Arnold just says he's fallen deeply in love with her. In her first life, she would have seized this chance without a second thought, but now she knows that life has various choices. Now, Rishe wonders why Arnold caused that war and whether she could find out by staying by his side. So she decides and proposes conditions for her to stay with him. She would live idle around the castle, wandering here and there, and Arnold couldn't lay a finger on her. He laughs. Later, the two set off for Arnold's kingdom. The carriages pass through several places, and along the way, Rishe takes the opportunity to cultivate some medicinal plants. At a certain point in the journey, she ends up falling asleep, leaning over a sword. She wakes up with Arnold approaching, which makes her repeat what she had said before. However, he just wanted to take back what she took from him, and we see that that sword was actually Arnold's own sword. Rishe noticed Arnold's presence even while asleep, and he finds that impressive. He then mentions having called the trading company chosen by Rishe, Tully's merchants. She is excited to see them in this life and ends up getting lost in the beauty of Arnold's face without realizing it. They are interrupted by an enemy attack. Arnold gets out of the carriage and tells Rishe to stay there and behave. But Rishe doesn't listen to him and opens the door with a hairpin. When she sees the battle had already ended, Arnold easily defeated everyone there, but didn't kill any of them. So his soldiers take care of the wounded on both sides. This intrigues Rishe. One of the allied soldiers was wounded with poison. Although not fatal, he would be in pain for several days. So Rishe says she can make an antidote. She uses the plants she picked along the way and makes a mixture of the juice. However, she thinks they might be suspicious of her somehow. Taking the poison knife, she cuts herself, immediately trying to stop Arnold, but she shows that it's okay and then uses the antidote on the wound, talking about the properties of the plants. They then treat the wounded. Oliver talks about Arnold's trust, that he even brought Rishe into battle. Although his sword defends the nation's interests better, Rishe acted on her own. In her life as a servant, she learned to unlock doors, since her mistress always locked herself in her room. Arnold thought the flowers were just decorative. He is amazed with each new discovery about his beloved. Talking about his soldiers, Arnold points out that one of the wounded used to live on the streets, earned his current position through his own effort. Another was injured trying to protect the youngest of them. He cares about his knights, and that catches Rishe's attention. So, Arnold kneels before her and thanks her for saving them. Rishe doesn't understand anymore. It's as if he were a different person. Is he pretending? We find out that the knights looked at her strangely, thinking that Rishe was some enemy, since she is from another kingdom, and the information passed to the Emperor of Gaine was that Arnold became interested in her and kidnapped her. In other words, Rishe is considered a hostage. Although she could be discriminated against in Gaine, Arnold's kingdom, she thinks it's all great. Being a hostage means she won't have to participate in official duties, so she can just idle around. Then, she mentions that Arnold almost touched her hand earlier, to which he responds that it was inevitable. Gaine influences all the other countries in the world. It was the only place that Rishe couldn't visit in all her other lives. She is amazed by the beauty of the place. Arriving at the destination, Arnold says that the country house where Rishe would stay couldn't be prepared in time, so he offers her a noble's room. But she says it's not necessary for so much comfort, and she'll be happy in the country house, even if it's been unused for years. After all, she's a hostage. Arnold wonders why she seems so proud of that. Arriving there, the house was indeed very dusty. The maid inside Rishe shouted to leave, and she was excited to clean everything up. Then, the knights she helped before offer to help with the heavy stuff. In a few years, Arnold will kill his father, the emperor. And so the war will begin. Rishe knows this, and even though it's futile, she wants to keep him away from his father as much as possible. She is totally against the war. If not for that, she would have had a long life full of comfort. Later, Rishe realizes that she finally managed to fulfill her dream of visiting all the countries and admires the beautiful view. Then she senses Arnold's presence, which he finds incredible. Even hiding his presence and staying away, she managed to feel him. Rishe asks about the city spots she observes, and Arnold replies with what each of them is. She is very amazed, making Arnold wonder why she finds it so amusing. She talks about her dream and how it was the final push for her to accept coming with him. Even though Arnold says that city has nothing worthy of her attention, she disagrees, saying that just from the spots he mentioned, the city becomes incredibly beautiful. Arnold has never met anyone like Rishe. All her combat skills, medicine, general knowledge. A lady doesn't need any of that. This makes Rishe remember her past. Her mother always insisted that her destiny was to marry into the royal family and have an heir. She didn't need to learn anything beyond how to be a wife and keep up appearances. She greatly admires every part of the knowledge in this world and asserts that she herself decides what is unnecessary or not. This time, she can't help but touch her. That's exactly what made Arnold fall in love with her. She is free to do whatever she wants, and he will support all her decisions. All her skills enchant his heart. Rishe still insists that he's lying. So, he leaves and tells her to think of something she wants, because this time he broke the arc of touching her. Yeah, he really got to Rishe. She can barely keep her balance. On another day, Rishe wakes up from a good night's sleep and is soon called by Oliver, Arnold's personal servant. She quickly dresses and answers the door. Oliver apologizes for appearing so early. It would be difficult to find another time due to the prince's unfinished duties. Rishe learns that Oliver has been assisting Arnold for 10 years and sees that he genuinely cares for him. He even analyzes her without drawing attention, but Rishe is very perceptive and says he can analyze as much as he wants, surprising Oliver, who apologizes. Arnold has never fallen in love with anyone, and the fact that he asked for Rishe's hand surprises him greatly. Oliver then hands her the guest list as requested by the prince. Later, we see Diana, one of the most experienced servants. Her younger colleagues ask for her help, but Diana is arrogant and expects them to do everything perfectly without any experience. Rishe visits Arnold in his office, surprising him with her attire. Rishe asks him if she can personally choose her maids as a form of payment for him touching her. Arnold agrees, but says that today's party will only be to show that the crown prince is looking for someone. But Rishe sees no dishonor in being a princess hostage there and asks Arnold to feel free to reveal her as his actual wife. Arnold sees that now it seems he has permission to touch her. Rishe says that in that case, they are wearing gloves. Naughty. At the party, Arnold is surrounded by some guests. One of them presents his daughter in an attempt to bring them closer. But Arnold shows that he has already found his wife, impressing everyone, especially the women when they see him smiling. Jealousy, envy, and ulterior motives surround Rishe, but compared to breaking off their engagement in public, this is nothing. Arnold thought it would be best to make it clear to everyone as soon as possible that Rishe is under his protection. Rishe is amazed. The man who ended her life in her previous existence is now protecting her. She mentions that she doesn't think there's anyone scarier than him there when it comes to swordplay, and that she certainly wouldn't defeat him. Arnold says that maybe they could train together someday, which Rishe happily agrees to. All of Rishe's reactions exceed Arnold's expectations, even though she's interested in the previous attack method. The music starts playing, and Arnold doesn't want to force Rishe to dance, but she doesn't see why not. They are very close, just like that day. Rishe tries several times to take control of the dance to see Arnold's reaction, but it's as if her steps say, no matter how hard you try, it's no use. Despite being so close to each other, Arnold never intrudes into Rishe's space. This is the ultimate romantic. Everyone is amazed by their mastery. In the final step, Arnold pulls Rishe with force, which destabilizes her, and she's sure she's going to fall. But Arnold holds her like a true gentleman. Despite everyone's admiration, some girls try to provoke Rishe with spiced wine, but she only notices it by the aroma and drinks it, saying it's indeed an exotic beverage, and thanks for the reception. Later, she tries to finish drinking the wine outside. Arnold appears there, asking what's spicy. The wine has lost all its flavor, but Rishe thinks the least she can do is drink it all. Arnold takes the glass from her hand and consumes it all. Indeed, it was spicy. Arnold asks who she was thinking about during the dance, which catches Rishe by surprise. However, she can't say she was thinking about her future self. So she says she was worried about his health. She noticed that his movement on the left side is slightly slower, and there must be a wound around the neck area. And indeed, there is an old wound that slightly contracts his skin. Rishe is amazed. That was the result of a blade hitting him several times with the intention to finish him off. Very few people know about this wound, and no one has ever noticed just by looking. Rishe asks what caused that, but Arnold changes the subject, saying that the night is getting colder and then leaves. The next day, Rishe pretends to be a servant again. Diana passes by and is arrogant again, rushing her younger colleagues and complaining about the work they did before. Rishe offers to help them, and Diana wonders how she has so much time to help them. Rishe notices that she carries a paper with notes, deducing that Diana knows how to read and write. The younger colleagues apologize to Rishe. They can't remember everything. Rishe is kind and says that at the beginning, it's always harder. Rishe learns that Diana is from a wealthy family, but they got into debt and lost a lot. At the presentation of the chosen maids, everyone stands at attention in the country house that Rishe herself cleaned. Diane is amazed at how clean everything is and wonders who could have cleaned it. Then, the princess finally appears, and Oliver announces her. Diane can't believe her eyes, just like everyone else. Rishe wanted to learn the reality of all of them, so she pretended to be a common servant. She announces the maids of her choice, and despite having 3 professionals there, she didn't choose any of them. Diane doesn't accept this. She gave everything for this position her whole life. So Rishe says that from now on, Diana will no longer be a maid. Rishe asks her if she did her duties in the same way at the beginning. Diana confesses that no, she couldn't remember how to do everything, and the more experienced ones were always busy. So she watched and learned, and although she became one of the best, she had something that all the others didn't have. She already knew how to read and write. Very few families received the same education. Although she became an elite maid, Diana couldn't understand why all the others couldn't keep up, and now realizes that she never taught them properly. Rishe then has an idea. She wants to turn that country house into a maid training center, with Diane as one of the instructors. Everyone would learn to read and write and have an advantage in many things. Later, Rishe gets ready to establish an alliance with the merchants she met in her first life. And so, we meet Tully again.